Hello everybody, this is the Urban Omnist on the road. I apologize, I'm out of uniform and I don't have my studio because I'm not anywhere near where I live, so today I'm just going to have to do this right on my phone. It'll be a bit of an experiment, but we'll see how it goes. I had a great interview lined up with a friend of mine, and unfortunately I'm going to have to do the interview tomorrow, which means you'll probably get to see it next week. But for today, I'm going to talk about something else. Every so often, I will get these comments, mostly from what I'm assuming are humanists, very science and reason-centered people, who will say, how dare you defend mythology? How dare you defend the beliefs of all these religions that believe all these incredibly barbaric, ridiculous things? And I suppose I should directly address that, even though I've done it to varying extents in other videos, but not everyone watches all of my videos. Through the years, people have obviously looked at things differently. I think that the concentration right now on comparing religion to science is one of the biggest absurdities. Religion, in my personal opinion, even though, yes, it has always addressed how the world began, how things were created, etc., the primary reason for religion is spirituality. It is how we connect to the divine, how we connect to ourselves, how we find meaning in life. And simply concentrating on certain things that were stated in those books and saying, oh, well, all of religion is complete baloney because they say the world began this way and science began this way, is an absurdity. I, for myself, and I'm not speaking for all Omnism, but I, for myself, have a tendency to approach it in a very different way. Even as all of that is in my head, all of those mythologies, all of those creation myths are in my head, and I find them interesting. What I tend to do is, as science comes to understand more and more, or at least as far as we understand more and more, it's always entirely possible that 100 years from now, everything will get flipped on its head, and we'll find out that everything we understand was ridiculous, as we often do in science. You know, the science we really have today is really only a little over 100 years old, and so our whole concept could get flipped over. But for the moment, I do take what science says, and I say, okay, well, how does this relate? After all, you remember my video where I was talking about how a lot of Vedic scriptures appear to say a lot of things that led to quantum physics, or that at the very least mirror quantum physics. Certain of the a variety of scientists at the time were reading that and using it to confirm in their minds what they were discovering through quantum physics. So that is one example of where these mythologies may very possibly have been true, but maybe not in as literal a way as we thought. And so for me, my belief system is very elastic. Even though I find those creation myths fascinating, I tend to think, okay, well, it may be much closer to what science said. It's entirely possible that that is closer to what really happened. But I'm not saying that everything everyone else said wasn't true as well, that it wasn't metaphoric of what really happened. And for those who believe in it very literally, that's fine. You see, the truth is, throughout history, we have tried to understand the universe, we've tried to understand the world, and we've done it at different rates. It's not as if when the Greeks first realized that the world was round, the entire world didn't come to realize that. It took hundreds of years for that to be understood more and more by what we might call the civilized world, even though I think that's a bit of a misnomer, calling only the Europeans civilized. They were merely a specific kind of civilization, but they came to the understanding that the world was round. And today, most people in the world have that belief, but it does take time. And again, one day we may find out that the truth is even far more interesting than merely the world being round. Whatever the case, the point is that people do things at varying rates. And people that have decided to simply shift over to reason, over to this way of thinking, this scientific, mechanistic way of thinking, have had to come to their own view of spirituality. How do we find meaning in a world that's purely mechanistic? And they've done it. Humanism has certainly managed to come up with their own sense of values, their own sense of spirituality, based purely on reason and purely on the understandings that they came to through science. Is that the only way to look at the world? Of course not. Absolutely not. The understandings that people have come to for thousands of years through religion are every bit as valid. Now, the problem happens when the humanist side of things, the atheist side, if you want to call it that, depending on how you want to phrase it, look at religion and purely says, well, you say one thing that said happened, and then we say something else happened, and you better agree with us, because everything that you believe is a fairy tale. Well, it's ridiculous. First of all, not necessarily everything they believe is a fairy tale. We don't know. We have no idea. It is entirely possible that a god, that a deity, that an actual physical deity, only a few thousand years ago, only a few hundred years ago, created the entire world exactly the way it is, with all our memories and dinosaur bones in the ground and everything exactly the way it was. We have no idea. Please keep in mind, I'm not espousing that. I'm not trying to say that that is what happened. I am simply saying that we don't know. And the idea of looking at one group of people and saying, well, you better catch up with the times. This is what we believe now, and so everything you believe is complete and utter bollocks. Well, it's complete and utter bollocks. I have zero interest in telling other people what to believe. And I really have zero interest in other people telling me what to believe. I enjoy discussing things. I certainly enjoy people of various belief systems coming together and peacefully trying to come to conclusions. I think that's fantastic. But me telling you that just because I look at all religions and all belief systems and everything as all having the same value, just because I'm saying that's what I believe, I'm never pushing that off on other people. At least I would like to think I'm not. In all of these videos, my pure interest has been to make people think, has been to make people say, oh, well, that's interesting. How can I incorporate that into my belief system? Even if your way of incorporating it is to say, it's completely ridiculous. That's fine. That's okay. Because I honestly believe that each of you out there, all of you viewing these videos, is genuinely looking for a truth in whatever way you happen to do it. And if I can be of help, that's fantastic. If I can't be of help, go watch other videos. Find someone else that can be of help. Because in the end, that's all we are. We're all just people trying to help everybody up the mountain, as Thomas Merton would say. I'm the Urban Omnist. I'll see you guys next week.